Let's lock in. Is a trilogy needed to decide who is the better fighter between Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol? Before I give my answer, let's take a listen to what Turkey Al-Sheikh had to say at the end of the fight, and let's listen, and then I'll give you my take. But this video appears courtesy of Stomping Ground. Subscribe to Stomping Ground. They do capture some great interviews. And also, they only have 52,000 subscribers, which they deserve more for the type of content that they're putting out. So subscribe to the Stopping Ground on YouTube. Let's listen to what Turkey Al-Sheikh said after the fight.
For the Stomping Ground, powered by Well Hydrate, available on the zone. His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh. What an incredible night of boxing. Dmitry Bivol, the victor. What did you think?
He deserved it, and we want to see the third.
We'll see the third fight now.
Yeah.
Did you think Dmitry Bivol had done enough tonight?
Yeah. If Arthur accepts, we will have the third.
Talk to me about that.
So you heard what he said. He feels like Dmitry Bivol did enough, and if Arthur Beterbiev accepts, then they will have a third fight. Now, Turkey also said he felt like Dmitry Bivol did enough after the first fight. Personally, I disagree with that. I thought that the right man won, and I thought Arthur Beterbiev deserved to win. After this fight, I think Dmitry Bivol did enough to get a draw. I think he was down early, and he pulled out some of the later rounds, and he changed the momentum of the fight. But I thought it was 114-114. And based on the things that I've seen, 114-114 is actually the most popular score. So to me, I think most people felt like the fight was a draw. But once again, Turkey Al-Sheikh feels like Bivol did enough to win. The crowd was with Dmitry Bivol and they were rooting for Dmitry Bivol. There is some concern. I don't know if I should get into it in this segment or in the next. I'll stick to this segment and I'll get to it in a later segment. But one has to wonder if Turkey Al-Sheikh wanted Bivol to win from the beginning. And that's strictly because of the plot, which is you can do more with Dmitry Bivol than you can do with Arthur Beterbiev. So, for example, with Dmitry Bivol, you got Dmitry Bivol Benavidez, you got Dmitry Bivol Canelo, you got Dmitry Bivol in multiple fighters. Whereas with Arthur Beterbiev, he's 40. You don't know how much more time he has left in the sport. You don't know if he's about to retire. So you don't want him to go out as the dude. Like, he could go out as a legend. He can go out as undisputed. He can go out. But once he leaves, then all the belts go out there. Maybe PBC will grab one, right? You never know. So to negate all of that, if Dmitry Bivol walks away with all the belts, they stay in the possession of Turkey Al-Sheikh and his people, because you never know if Arthur Beterbiev was going to retire or not. Now, again, this is a train of thought. This is a school of thought. This is, I'll be honest, I'm the first one throwing this out there, but this is my mindset because of what I've seen from Turkey Al-Sheikh. The way he was with the Shiraz fight and the way the commentary was trying to persuade people into believing that Israel Madrimov was doing better than he actually was against Virgil Ortiz, like, that's a bit troubling. And when you think of how he came out and said he thought Bivol won the first fight, when it's public perception, and even the professional judges were in agreement that Arthur Beterbiev won the first fight. He comes out now, even when it's a close draw, and he thinks that Bivol won the fight. To me, it's a bigger picture at play. And the bigger picture is Bivol is the one who's younger, 34 years old, compared to Arthur Beterbiev, who's 40. Bivol's the one who could have a rematch with Canelo Alvarez. And imagine how massive that fight would be. Now, we know Canelo has a four-fight deal with Turkey Al-Sheikh. William Skull, Terrence Bud Crawford. What if the third fight on that 4-fight deal is Dimitri Bivol for undisputed. Now you have Canelo fighting for the opportunity to become 2-time undisputed. You're telling me that's not a huge blockbuster, especially if Canelo beats Terrence Bud Crawford? Now let me blow your mind for a second. Pause. This is crazy, but listen to this. What if Terrence Bud Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez? Now you have a situation where Dimitri Bivol could go back down to 168, which he said he was willing to do to fight Canelo, and fight Terrence Bud Crawford at 168 to become 2-time undisputed. You know how massive that fight would be? That's not an option with Arthur Beterbiev. So with Dimitri Bivol in possession of the belts, you guarantee yourself that one, there's not going to be a retirement anytime soon, right? That's going to result in all the belts going up for grabs and possibly someone on PBC stable like David Benavidez or David Morrell getting one of those belts. Also, with Dimitri Bivol, you have an interchangeable part that can produce multiple mega fights. So it's almost like you win regardless of outcome. You got Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford in September. Regardless of who wins that fight, Dimitri Bivol is an option. Whether it's Canelo, you want to try to move up to 175 and become 2-time undisputed? Dimitri Bivol, you want to go down in weight and try to become 2-time undisputed. Now, the reason why Dimitri Bivol would be willing to go down in weight, he said he was willing to go down in weight to face Canelo. Maybe he's still willing to do it. But the reason why he would have to go down in weight to face Terrence Bud Crawford is Terrence Bud Crawford is already moving up 2 weight classes in one fight to face Canelo. So it would be, it would be playing with house money. I'll put it to you like this. If Terrence Bud Crawford agreed to move up to 175 to fight Dimitri Bivol, if he somehow was able to beat Canelo, he would be legendary. Like that would be just some straight legendary stuff. But my point is, Beterbiev, there's more of a future with him. I'm not Beterbiev, excuse me. Dimitri Bivol, there's more of a future with him. There's more you can do with him. There are mega fights to be made with Dimitri Bivol, and that's not really the case with Arthur Beterbiev. So to me, that's one of the reasons why Turki Al-Sheikh has been rooting for Bivol and has been behind Dimitri Bivol. And to answer this question directly, I don't need to see a trilogy to know who's the better fighter. In my personal opinion, and based on what I've seen, I think Arthur Beterbiev is the better fighter, and I'm going to tell you why. He was 40 facing a 34-year-old. A 34-year-old Arthur Beterbiev sparks out Dimitri Bivol. There's no debate. There's no doubt in my mind. I saw what the 40-year-old did. And to me, signs of age crept in this fight where he slowed down. Well, Arthur Beterbiev slowed down in 7, 8, 9. And Dimitri Bivol was able to use his youth in the reserves he can tap into that Arthur Beterbiev could no longer tap into, because it doesn't matter how great of an athlete you are. You're going to slow down at the age of 40. LeBron James is still one of the best players in the NBA, but he's not what he was when he was 34. I don't care how good an athlete is. You can't compare a 40-year-old athlete to the athlete when they were 34 years old. Look at Mayweather, 34-year-old Mayweather versus 40-year-old Mayweather. 34-year-old Manny Pacquiao versus 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao. It doesn't matter. So 40-year-old Arthur Beterbiev just beat Dimitri Bivol in the first fight, and rightfully so. And then 40-year-old Arthur Beterbiev just fought 34-year-old Dimitri Bivol to a draw on my scorecard. And even if you had him winning, it still was razor close, 115, 113. 116, 112 to me is a bit of a stretch. But then again, when you think about what happened with the Shiraz fight, which I'm going to get into, and Turkey's actions during that fight, and you think about a lot of the things that you're starting to see, 116, 112, to me, was that a bit of insurance? When all is said and done, the fight isn't a robbery to me. Dimitri Bivol is a great fighter. I'm not taking anything away from Dimitri Bivol. I don't think he did enough to win the fight, but I respect the fact that he won the fight. What I'm saying to you is boxing is a business at the end of the day, and in that business, you take a lot of things into consideration, like Canelo Lara. I thought Lara pulled that fight out against Canelo, but he didn't get it, and that was business. And this is a business. And to me, that fight deserved to be a draw. That's what each fighter deserved, because I don't think neither fighter won that fight. I thought it was 6 rounds apiece. But when you look at the fact that Bivol got the nod, and you look at the fact Turkey wanted him to get the nod in the first fight, and you look at the situation where you do have an aging Beterbiev who's probably going to retire soon, and you have a 34-year-old Dimitri Bivol who, like I said, could compete at 168 and 175. You look at September, you got Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Bud Crawford. Regardless of the outcome, you have another undisputed fight if you insert Dimitri Bivol. To me, this works out perfectly. Most importantly, you don't have to worry about PBC and one of their fighters stealing a belt. So, anyways, to me, to answer this question, I really don't need to see a trilogy. And you heard what Turkey said. If Arthur wants the third fight, we'll give him a third fight. But to me, I think Arthur Beterbiev said he didn't even want the rematch. He didn't want to fight Bivol again. He said he didn't want to do it. But, they gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. He stepped in the ring because the reality is, like I told you before, and one thing I know, if you watch the other show, you know. And for everyone who keeps asking me about the other show, I don't have the time to do it anymore. I don't have the time to record a bunch of people, edit a bunch of people, put out a bunch of people, and fund everything. I don't have the time to do it anymore. So I just do this when I can now. But the point is, right, in the other show, I predicted this. Turkey wants to start a boxing league. In order for it to do it, I laid out the blueprint. Everything I said, they've been doing. Even the Grand Prix, where I said they have to build new prospects, superstars. And if you make a league like Turkey's doing, where you just throw everyone in the ring with each other, you're never building the next big thing. So now they're talking about this like boxing Grand Prix tournament where it's going to be all boxers under the age of 26. They're going to start like this tournament, and it's going to be like the first round is, I don't know, like 4 rounds. The next round is going to be like 8 rounds, and then they're going to crown a winner. So this is a good way to create the new stable of superstars. But this is something I've been talking about. So they're on their way. And I told you they needed 3 fighters to solidify their league. They needed Canelo, they needed Inoue, and they needed Gervonta Tank Davis. They got 2. 2 of the fighters they needed, they got. That's very big wins for them because they got Canelo and they got Inoue. So they got the titles, they got the name recognition, they got all that. If they get Gervonta Tank Davis, it is a wrap. They will now solidify. There's still, it could be a wrap now because once Gervonta retires, but Gervonta is still popular enough and still has enough to generate and keep PBC alive. When I say it's a wrap, I mean it's a wrap for PBC in their ability to compete with Turkey Al-Sheikh, what they're putting on. Even with what you may think of the last crescendo, United States of America is still the biggest market in boxing. It doesn't matter what you think. This isn't your opinion. This is just a fact, because I know some people are going to get mad about that. I really don't care. I'm not trying to, I'm just speaking on facts. Still the biggest market in boxing. Still where you can charge the most money. It's still where the most money is generated. because Turkey's losing money. We're talking about what's generated. Still where the most money is generated. And so as long as Tank can sell pay-per-views and sell out arenas with tickets costing Beyonce concert prices, right? Then PBC is going to be in business. And they're going to be making a profit. And then you got David Benavidez, the next big thing for if Beterbiev leaves, and then Bivol, and then David Morrell didn't look too shabby himself. So to deliver the knockout blow to PBC, which they took a major asset from PBC, which is Canelo, they need to get Tank too. Tank has been defiant in what he's been saying, but the price, if the price is right, he just might go on over to Turkey Al Sheikh in Riyadh season, but we'll wait and see. But in the end, to wrap this all up, there's no doubt in my mind Artur Beterbiev's the better fighter, especially if we could take prime Beterbiev and throw him in the ring with Dimitri Bivol, who's in his prime now. Artur Beterbiev would have done a job with him. But this is what happens in the sport of boxing. At some point, the young lion beats the old lion, and the old lion has to go and ponder whether or not they want to continue to do this and whether or not they still have the ability to do this. So we'll wait and see what Artur Beterbiev wants to do. But personally, I don't really think he's in the plans for the future. I think this is what they wanted the entire time. They wanted Bivol to be undisputed because there are several fights that can be made with Dimitri Bivol that can't be made with Artur Beterbiev. And boxing is a business at the end of the day. That doesn't take away from the fact that Dimitri Bivol is a great fighter who fought and earned a draw, in my personal opinion. I'm not mad at 115, 113 for Bivol. I'm just stating my personal thoughts on why, when it was obvious Beterbiev won, Turkey Al Sheikh said he thought Bivol won, why he doubled down on believing that Bivol won today, and what I think are the plans for Dimitri Bivol moving forward. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. It's Caden. I'm out. Peace. And remember, you can listen to this content on my podcast, available on all major streaming services.